Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is SaulApeMan. In this video you are going to see a game between Lemes and Foggy from Bnet. Professor Lemes was kind enough to send me the replay and say, Saul, this game is epic, and yes indeed, the game was epic, super close. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes was practicing yesterday a little bit, because today it's going to be a huge Makrura Cup 1 event, and of course the main fight, the main event is Lemes versus Knopf, Pala Rifle versus Orc in the best of 7 format. We are going to have some, games before that, in the theme of Pala Rifle players versus Orc, but ladies and gentlemen, the main event is going to happen at 8 p.m. Central European time. So probably like 11 a.m., 1 p.m. in the US. Neither nor less, I will be casting, and Mr. Knopf will probably showing a player point of view. So if you like to see this kind of game, please check out the Makrura Cup and enjoy the epic Lemes game. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this replay of Professor Lemes versus Foggy. Professor Lemes just DM'd me few seconds ago and he said, Paul, I have something for you. I have something for you. You will like it. And ladies and gentlemen, it's Lemes versus Foggy. What not to like here? I played versus Foggy recently and he was strong, he was doing some pressure, he was going for the bears, creeping Demon Hunter level 3. So let's see if in this game he will creep Demon Hunter, or maybe it's going to be another hero. Professor Lemes is quite good versus Night Elves. Let's see if Professor Lemes is going to go for the standard push, or with just rifles, or he's going to try to go into a little bit of the late game. For me, the late game is quite problematic. I don't know exactly how to play the late game, and especially if somebody is as strong as Mr. Foggy. So far, quite tight base layout. Usually versus Night Elf you want to make a tight base layout, but not versus Night Elves like Mr. Soccer from Poland, Polish Night Elf, because he can make freaking Hans Alin versus you. He can make freaking, I don't know, some laming later. This is a factor here, but the base layout is not that important as versus Orc, because there is no raiders in the Night Elf race. Ladies and gentlemen, Paladin is here. The altar trick is ready. Professor Lemes with 400 APM almost. Grande Lemes, strong APM Lemes. And what I can tell you, I see that Professor Lemes is going for 2 farm tech. As you can see, he's not going, or maybe he's going to make a third farm. Not really, it's too late for that, so it's a planned 2 farm technology. Okay. So, as you can see, the opening for Pala Rifle players is basically designed to have fast tech, to creep with the rifleman. The altar trick, successful, I think. There is no ensnare. The rally point is great. The paladin on hold position. And ladies and gentlemen, just like that, this item goes to Professor Lemes. And as you can see, the trolls are not attacking. They betrayed the Orc Warrior. Now is an important decision. The standard is usually to go for this shop, but is Foggy going to allow it? Is Mr. Foggy scouting? This is very risky, and of course we know that Imba Hunter can just creep jag you and you have a problem. Professor Lemes is pulling the camp deep. That's very good, because if Imba Hunter comes, from the bottom left, then we can just pull back. We don't like this situation, and Professor Lemes is getting ready for it. I think there is an attempt to get the Orc Magi item, but in game versus Mr. Toxie, the monster with the item escapes. 1 militia went down. This is quite painful. The second militia almost. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the good news is the Imba Hunter is not really attacking us. Mr. Foggy is slow. What Mr. Foggy is doing Mr. Foggy is healing. He is about to creep something. Okay, so Mr. Foggy is like a creep level 3 kinda guy. Professor Lemes is securing his base. He's like, okay, I don't see the opponent. It means that opponent is either expanding or getting level 3 to maybe lane me. And ladies and gentlemen, what is going to happen here? Thank you, Mr. QWE211X. Professor Lemes sees that there is no indeed expansion so far. Professor Lemes is like a detective, like he's like a detective being called for the like a murder scene. He's just seeing corpses. But Professor Lemes is like, okay, Nidelf is around, there is no need to push into the Nidelf base. I'm just going to creep something. And I do agree with this decision. Slowly but surely, the Pala Rifle player is getting more and more rifles. Of course, with 2 farm tech, the amount of rifles is quite limited. Good item for Professor Lemes. Of course, the replenishment potion. And Professor Lemes is going to creep. But the Wisp is coming. I was scared for a moment that Imba Hunter is going to stuff in. Professor Lemes is going to get level 3 with this Creative Creep Road. And he's now going into the Nidelf base. Nidelf. Mr. Foggy is not scouting too well. To be honest, I would Holy Light, yes, Professor Lemes agrees, because, you know, we don't want to have too much mana versus potential mana burn. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Foggy bought a lot of mercs. Do we like this? Not really. And something got killed. I think Professor Lemes killed a lore or something. I don't know what happened there, but Mr. Foggy economy, there is a problem. Okay, there was no cancel. Yes, Professor Lemes strikes fast like lightning. There is nothing to kill here, so Professor Lemes is like, Soul, I don't want to burn my TP. Because of that, I'm running back on foot. Back on foot. Good decision, Professor. But ladies and gentlemen, the Imba Hunter creature is here with the Soul Burn. The healing ability is removed, and is Professor Lemes. Can this rifleman survive? Professor Lemes was blocking the Imba Hunter. He was the greatest bodyguard, protecting his rifleman with his own body. Professor Lemes is taking the great care of his rifles. Hello, Mr. Torch. Merry Christmas to you, sir. And because of the power of tier 2 farm tech, Professor Lemes' push is almost here. I think with this situation, Professor Lemes, he doesn't need any dispel. He's going for the lumber mill, okay, because of missing one worker on lumber. Maybe the lumber is reduced. And now what? Are we going to creep something? On Professor Lemes says just go. Kansas go. Are we just going in? Let's see. Professor Lemes with the sharp timing. Are we pulling militia? I think it's the time to push militia if we want to push inside of the Nidelf base. I know that we have limited lumber, so we can take 2 militia only, maybe. Or maybe it's too early for that. Ladies and gentlemen, the archer was left behind, and Professor Lemes versus Foggy Archer. Professor Lemes won. That is far away from the day so far, so we don't have any scrolls, but maybe we don't need them. There is no bears, and this is what is important. Blood Mage is getting rid of the Imba Hunter mana. Professor Lemes is kiting back. Still, this situation is very hard to win. Give me this game and I'm going to lose it. Professor Lemes needs to micro on point. Of course, the game is looking decent for Professor Lemes, and now militia is coming. Professor Lemes accumulated more lumber, so now he can pull militia easier. And what is this Nidelf doing? Professor Lemes is like, okay, it's tier 2. Tier 2 means expansion, I think. I don't see any Dryads. I think there is a tier 2 expansion, and Professor Lemes is pushing. There is no bears, there is no Dryads. We have some archers, some mercs. I don't think it's enough. But ladies and gentlemen, we still need to be careful. The Holy Light, of course, beautiful. The position is a little bit weird. Mr. Foggy is connecting into the workers, and we know how crucial the Arcane Vault needs to be. But archers are exposed by Foggy. One rifleman goes down. Level 2 on the Fire Lord, not that important. Some damage boost with Incinerate. But ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes lose the Scroll of the Beast, and now the damage is huge, and the Blood Mage was left alone. Moonwares are not that full, and healing mana is not good. Demon Hunter has no mana. Fire Lord has no mana. But level 4 Imba Hunter. Imba Hunter is scary. All of the workers dead. Professor Lemes can't access his shop. We have some mana on the Paladin. By the way, I would like to point out that Imba Hunter is not playing mana burn, so maybe this, this is not what Mr. Foggy expected. And yes, we remember Lemes versus Krasik from Back to Warcraft Weekly. Lemes dominated 2300 MMR Night Elf that was refusing to play mana burn on his Imba Hunter, just Imbalation. Imbalation is no good versus powerful Blood Mage. There's still a lot of archers in the Night Elf army. The Incinerate ability detonated. One of the riflemen, Professor Lemes Macro, looks good. Professor Lemes Macro looks good. And are we creeping, Professor? What is happening here? Okay. What's now? Imba Hunter is fighting versus Free Militia. Professor Lemes is creeping and fighting Foggy at the same time. And what's now? What's now? Who is going to get the item and experience? Professor Lemes is going in. His item goes to Professor Lemes, I think. Good item, especially for the Paladin, maybe. The Zeppelin escape. And ladies and gentlemen, Foggy can survive a little bit longer, but how long he can survive versus Mighty Lemes? Supply advantage for the Night Elf. But Professor Lemes is doing fine. He's now making his shop, and Professor Lemes is getting ready to strike again. Remember, there is no tier 3, there is no bears. So our army, the Pala Rifle army, is scaling quite well versus it. Demon Hunter is back, Fire Lord is back, but they're low. They're low. The Zeppelin is here to help, but remember that rifles, they have long range. Okay, the Night Elf is trying to be aggressive. The Night Elf is trying to be annoying again. Demon Hunter. Can this Demon Hunter escape? I think he is... So many archers! Tier 2 mass archer with potential expansion, but supply looks even. Okay, Professor Lemes needs to buy healing. The healing potion is there. Holy Light couldn't go through. One rifleman goes down, but the Night Elf heroes are low. And there is no bears, there is no moon juice. He needs to heal with gold. He needs to heal by buying healing potions. Okay, it's Foggy, not Foggy. It's Foggy, not Foggy. Ladies and gentlemen, Foggy Micro. That was important. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Nurture Blessing. We have Nurture Blessing. Nurture Blessing, Ancient of War. Professor Lemes needs to fight versus entire forest, but Professor Lemes is the lumberjack that can take this job on his shoulders. And now the beautiful Scroll of Regen Paladin is getting replenishment potion, a Scroll of Regen, and Lesser Clarity potion. Mr. Foggy is making so many, ladies and gentlemen, of these structures from the deep Night Elf forest. But Professor Lemes, 3 after 3, he's clearing this forest. And Professor Lemes is not stopping. We have one Scout Tower on the hill. This is going to be the name Hill of Lemes. Another Ancient of War, a hidden Ancient of War, close to the Goblin laboratory. Demon Hunter is using Clarity Potions to get some imballation, but it's not working too well, and there is no Soulburn on the Paladin. Professor Lemes can just heal, can just spend the mana. The push doesn't stop. And the archers from the Zeppelin on the hill, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Foggy is evolving. Another Ancient of War. The Imba Hunter is running back. Professor Lemes like a hero. This push is non-stop. If somebody says that Pala Rifle is boring to watch, look at this entire Night Elf forest versus Pali Rifle, and the Blood Mage this time is getting killed on the Fire Lord. Professor Lemes needs to kite a little bit, but yes, Imba Hunter is back, but this Imba Hunter is not going to be back for long, I think. But there's so many archers with 0-0 upgrades, but still Professor Lemes with 2-1 upgrades going for 2-2. Professor Lemes with almost 50 supply. It's similar supply for the Night Elf. Remember, there is no Fire Lord, there is no mana on the Imba Hunter. The Zeppelin is going for the rescue. And Professor Lemes still has a shop, so maybe Scroll of Regen is going to be purchased. And now Professor Lemes is going to start clicking on the Moonwells. Another Ancient of War is going to meet Lemes Wrath of Lemes. Firelord is not in the altar. Firelord was probably Tavern revived. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Carson. I have not. Maybe I need to catch up on that. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes is deep inside of the Foggy base, taking damage from the Tree of Ages. Of course, we don't want that, and we want to have a nice position. Ladies and gentlemen, the Night Elf is scared. The Night Elf is scared. The Night Elf is into the laming mode, but Professor Lemes is like, you should think about this a little bit earlier, you laming Night Elf. I'm going to kill your main, and I'm going to teleport back. And ladies and gentlemen, this game is looking better and better for Mr. Lemes. Oh yes, where is he going to teleport? I'll teleport here, I think, to the top left. Let's see what Lemes is going to do. And I think, yes, just teleport. Don't risk it. Some peasants are dead where Professor Lemes is going to teleport. Also, offensive position. The main of Professor Lemes survives. And yes, now we can expect, of course, that Night Elf indeed had an expansion. Because, you know, Night Elf should just leave without the expo. So, Professor Lemes needs to figure out how to finish this game. And Professor Lemes is like, okay, Saul, I know that he can lame me back, but I can split my army. And Professor Lemes is choosing to send his rifles on patrol. And there is an expansion, 5,000 gold left only. It means that this expansion has been running for long. And something is teleporting here. Is it the full army? Professor Lemes needs to be careful! This was very offensive TP. How many rifles are going to die? But ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes is running back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit awkward situation here. Imba Hunter is laming the main, but ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes is fighting the archers. I think Mr. Foggy is overextending here. Okay, you can lame the main. Actually, the laming looks good. Okay, so you need to kite. Good kiting by Foggy. But Professor Lemes is the destroyer of the Night Elf main buildings. Yes, the destroyer of Night Elf main buildings. Another expansion is going to fall. Maybe Mr. Foggy... This Night Elf is hidden in the forest like a hole or something. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes is not getting any gold. But there is no wisps at this expansion either. And yes, the rest of the army, Professor Lemes has a TP. Professor Lemes main is secure. There is so many Night Elf structures between bases. Another expansion by Mr. Foggy. Foggy doesn't want to give up. Professor Lemes! I think Professor Lemes, you should just teleport. Yes, Professor Lemes is teleporting. He can't, afford any more time to the Night Elf. Can Night Elf escape this situation? Foggy is overextending, maybe. Foggy is going for the kill. I think Foggy is giving up mentally. I don't know. I think Lemes can just secure this. Lemes can just secure this, or maybe not. The Imba Hunter can attack, but it will cost him the Fire Lord. The Fire Lord goes down. The two archers, Professor Lemes is... Can you secure your main? Not really. Foggy made a huge, grande sacrifice, but ladies and gentlemen, his expansion died as well, and Professor Lemes now can just cross the map. Is this Demon Hunter dead? Not really. Demon Hunter can staff back. There was an expansion here. Mr. Foggy Micro. Professor Lemes has some workers left. Yes, indeed. We have 0 gold versus 0 gold. This is funny. Thank you for pointing it out. What's now? We have Demon Hunter running. Professor Lemes is like, okay, you know, I saw that you were making an expansion. I have some plans with this expansion. What are you going to do, Mr. Foggy? Professor Lemes has a peasant here, and he's saving the peasant. Okay. Professor Lemes is like, you want to kill my peasant? Foggy, you can't. because my name is Lemes and I'm Grande. Ladies and gentlemen, the expansion in the main base. Mr. Foggy is mining a little bit. But is it going to help him? As we can see, the Demon Hunter sees, okay, there is no main. There is no main. And Professor Lemes acquired a new target. 4 rifles are running to this Tree of Life. I think when this Tree of Life is going to fall, Professor Lemes will be victorious. Are we buying Staff of Teleportation? Are we making a main? What are you going to do, Professor? We can't leave rifles alone versus Imba Hunter. Archers are here, but those archers are not going to do much. Professor Lemes is repositioning his rifles. Of course, we don't want to get this melee damage. Where is the Imba Hunter? Okay, Imba Hunter is here. We have Staff of Teleportation on the Paladin, and we have Blood Mage without Staff of Teleportation. And yes, the Imba Hunter can kill all of them. Or maybe he can't, I don't know. Professor Lemes is trying to trade. Mr. Foggy got some. Okay, level 5 on the Imba Hunter, but Paladin is here. And this time it's going to be much harder for the Imba Hunter. Of course, Imba Hunter, as the name says, it's Imba. Blood Mage is coming back. The Zeppelin! The Zeppelin survived, but barely, I think. Is Imba Hunter surrounded? Is Imba Hunter surrounded? I don't know. Probably not. Okay, not. But the expansion in the main base, it's dead. And Professor Lemes is Grande. I think Professor Lemes is going to be victorious. Mr. Foggy is fighting for the last resort. He's trying. He knows that Imba Hunter is Imba. He has a lot of items on this Imba Hunter. He's trying to kill rifle after rifle. But ladies and gentlemen, Professor Lemes will have full mana soon. And with full mana soon, he can just out-damage this Imba Hunter. And this Imba Hunter is going to be one sad Imba Hunter. He's stuffing back somewhere, I don't know where. He's looking for the peasants, but is it even important? We are going into the full base race. Okay, are you ready to do a full base race versus Foggy? How long this game is going to take? Because they have nothing. They are broke. You know, Fire Lord is back. I mean, it's not that easy to rebuild the base, Mr. Areczek, because, you know, scouting is on point by 2 players. Okay, let's go to the units. So, we have 2 Wisps on the map and 3 Peasants on the map. So, quite an achievement. Foggy is laming. Professor Lemes is running back. We have Firelord level 3, Demon Hunter level 5. And Professor Lemes is starting his Banish dance. He's starting his Banish dance. Okay, no more Banish, I think. 1 Rifleman is slowly damaging the Moonwells. The main base of Lemes secure. Nothing is really happening there. Professor Lemes with a lot of hidden units everywhere. Okay, the archer spotted 1 peasant. Okay, it's not that easy to rebuild because you need to be able to hold to it. Okay, the Zeppelin not spotted. I'm getting scared of this Zeppelin. 1 Rifleman spotted, by the way. Look at this, Professor Lemes stuffed back. Holy light, on point. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Mamma mia, ladies and gentlemen. Is Zeppelin even alive? Units. The Zeppelin is alive, but barely. Arcane Tower. Arcane Tower draining the mana. That's good. Lemes is enraged. Lemes doesn't need stuff like... Okay. he's moving his buildings. Okay, this Moonwell is going to die. Or not really. He needs to drink. He didn't drink from the Moonwell. Ay, ay, ay. He didn't want to. Maybe he thought every mana I get belongs to Lemes anyway, so... And the rifles, slowly but surely, are attacking the Moonwells. The vital part of the Night Elf army, Professor Lemes and his 2 rifles. I mean 5 rifles and 2 heroes versus 2 Night Elf heroes. Every kill is going to be huge. The Ancient of War wants to help Professor Lemes with a lot of mana. Professor Lemes is getting operational. Do we have a surround? The Imba Hunter is quite slippery. He can escape. Foggy is not doing much. Production is empty. Nobody is rebuilding anything.
Our town is under siege.
Okay, Foggy is like, okay, I want to kill this tower. And I want to kill this barrack. But Lemes is okay. Trade accepted. I'm going to kill those moonwells. Lemes has vision here because it was revealed?
Our town is under siege.
Think so. Okay.
Our forces are under attack.
Yes, it was revealed. Okay, now I understand. Now I understand. Professor Lemes. With some FFA knowledge. Okay, are the rifles secure? Professor Lemes is like, okay, 2 rifles are going to go to the walk with mom under mom care, and 3 rifles under daddy paladin care. Okay, be careful, don't talk to strangers, especially to this weird Imba Hunter guy. Okay, even if he offers you candy. Don't talk to them. Ladies and gentlemen, run! Run from the Imba Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fire Lord is here. Hello, Mr. Random and Gamer. Nice to hear. Wisp in the Zeppelin. Mr. Foggy is going for the Paladin. He's going for the Paladin. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Let's go. Oh boy. Oh boy. The archers are busy dying. The archers are fragile, and ladies and gentlemen, Foggy can't kill stuff. It's 6 rifles for Grand Lemes, 1 Holy Light, and the rifleman survives. What a satisfaction for Mr. Lemes. Foggy can't kill a unit in the late game. Production, of course, empty. They're just fighting. It's just about the micro, but this time the hero focus prevails. Focus the Paladin, they said. Paladin in trouble. Professor Lemes is blocking, but can he block for long? There is Banish. Is there Banish? Is there Banish? No! Banish, ladies and gentlemen. Last second Banish. The Demon Hunter is tunneled vision with the imballation. Paladin dies. Professor Lemes, can you remake? There is an altar. He can't remake. The inventory is empty. The inventory is empty. He can't sell. He can creep. Okay, FFA. We can creep some units, but it's not easy to creep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, but Foggy is dancing with red HP. Foggy is naked. But the Pala Rifle army is naked as well. Without the Paladin. Foggy is attacking altar. We don't have gold. What Professor Lemes is going to do? 185 gold. Paladin level 5 is like 240 or something. Are we going to creep to sell the item? Ladies and gentlemen, the soul burn on the blood mage. Professor Lemes is running back. Is Professor Lemes going to bait the Demon Hunter into like a deadly trap? Professor Lemes bought the Golem! Is this it? Is Professor Lemes going to win this with the Golem? Mamma mia, grande madonna! The Invul on the Imba Hunter, the Blood Mage in trouble, but the Fire Lord! One hit away! One hit away, everything so low. Professor Lemes, are you going to hound down the Imba Hunter? Professor Lemes can't get his Paladin back, but he has the Muddy support. He has the Muddy support. Muddy, the Grande Muddy. This Muddy will be remembered as a hero that saved Professor Lemes' army when the Paladin was busy being dead. Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Professor Lemes is getting ready for the elimination. Hello, Mr. Scimitar. Hello, Mr. Leden of the Walk. Hello, Mr. Glaive. What a game. Hello, Mr. Glare. There is no Mr. Glare, I think. I don't know. Professor Lemes is going for the buildings units.
Town is under siege.
This is the last building! Professor Lemes maybe doesn't know about this. I think this is the last building. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Imba Hunter. The Imba Hunter, slow down. Professor Lemes! Professor Lemes! Can he do it? One rifleman goes down. The Imba Hunter is here, but he's slowed down. Professor Lemes is playing with him. The Fire Lord, everything is red HP. The Soulburn ability, the Muddy, the MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, what is this game? The Grande game. No, the Imba Hunter is like...
Our town
No, it's like a nightmare in slow motion. He's going for us, but Professor Lem is like, Jong, GG. Oh my god. Oh my god, what a game. What a game. What a game. What an idea to not creep, to not get enough gold to get Paladin back. To go for the Muddy. Professor Lemes, thumbs up, thumbs up. What a game. Professor Muddy. Professor Muddy. Professor